I've got no roots, but my home was never on the ground. I've got no roots, but my home was never on the ground. I've got no roots. I've got no roots. I've got no roots, but my home was never on the.
Once upon a time, there lived a girl called Cinderella. She was happily lived with her father and her mother, until her mother died and her father had married a widow with 2 daughters. Her stepmother didn't like her one little bit, but for the poor unhappy girl, there was nothing at all. Her stepmother has 2 daughters, and they were very bossy. No rest and no comfort. She had to work hard all day. Only when evening came, she was allowed to sit for a while by the fire, near the cinders. That's why everybody called her Cinderella.
Cinderella used to spend long hours alone talking to the cat. The cat always sighed, meow, which really meant, "Care up, you have something neither of your stepsister has, and that is beauty." It was quite true. Cinderella, even dressed in old rags, was a lovely girl, while her stepsister, no matter how splendid and elegant their clothes, were still clumsy, lumpy, and ugly, and always would be.
One day, beautiful new dresses arrived at the house. A ball was to be held at the palace, and the stepsisters were getting ready to go. Cinderella didn't even dare ask if she could go too. She knew very well what the answer would be.
You are staying at home. Wash the dish, scrub the floors, and turn down the bed for your stepsisters.
They will come home tired and very asleep, Cinderella said.
Oh dear, I'm so unhappy.
And the cat murmured. The fairy smiled with a flick of her magic when Cinderella found herself wearing the most beautiful dress she had ever seen.
Now for you, coach. A real lady would never go to a ball on foot. Quick, get me a pumpkin. Of course,
Said Cinderella, rushing away. Then the fairy turned to the cat.
You bring me 7 mice and remember they must be alive.
Suddenly, something amazing happened. As Cinderella was sitting all alone, there was a burst of light and a fairy appeared.
Don't be alarmed, Cinderella. I know you would love to go to the ball, and so you shall. How can I dress in rags? You shall go to the ball, Cinderella, but remember, you must leave at midnight. That is, when my spell ends, your coach will turn back into a pumpkin, and the horses will become mice again. You will be dressed in rags and wearing cloaks instead of these glass slippers. Do you understand? Yes, I understand.
Cinderella soon returned with the pumpkin and the cat with 7 mice she had caught in the cellar. With a flick of the magic wand, the pumpkin turned into a sporting coach and the mice became 6 white horses, while the 7th mouse turned into a coachman in a smart uniform and carrying a whip. Cinderella could hardly believe her eyes.
Cinderella had a wonderful time at the ball until she heard the first stroke of midnight. She remembered what the fairy had said, and without a word of goodbye, she slipped from the prince's arms and ran down the steps. As she ran, the lanced on of her slippers, but not for a moment did she dream of stopping to pick it up. If the last stroke of midnight were to sound, oh, what a disaster that would be! Out she left, out she fled, and finished into the night.
The prince, who was now madly in love with her, picked up the slipper and said to his ministers,
Shall everywhere for the girl was the slipper first. I will never be content until I find her.
So the ministers tried the slipper on the foot of every girl in the land until only Cinderella was left. Suddenly, the fairy appeared and waved her magic wand. In a flash, Cinderella appeared in a splendid dress, shining with youth and beauty. Her stepmother and stepsisters gaped at her in amazement, and the minister said,
Come with us, Cinderella. The prince is waiting for you.
So Cinderella married the prince and lived happily ever.